This is a Film Stories original podcast.
We made this.
Welcome back, everyone, to the X-Cast. The truth is in here. This is our special Fight the Future Minute podcast. I'm Tony Black, and you're listening to our coverage of Minute 5 of the X-Files Fight the Future. This minute begins at 4 minutes precisely as we see the attacked Neanderthal ready for his prey, and ends on 4 minutes 59 with the Neanderthal making the killing blow. To discuss this minute, I'm joined by, again, fellow X-Cast hosts and producers Carl Sweeney and Sarah Blair. Guys, it's been at least 10 minutes since we all spoke last. How you been?
Time flies when you're having fun, so yeah.
It does.
Keen and thankful to be back, really, yeah.
It's always good hanging out with you guys.
Keen as mustard, we say in the U. Have you heard that phrase, Sarah? Keen as mustard.
That's a new one.
I don't even know what that means. I don't even know why mustard is keen.
Keen as ketchup, or
keen as ketchup.
Keen as mayonnaise.
Or keen as mayonnaise. Or salad dressing, they say in the US, don't they?
Yeah.
Keen as salad dressing. That's right, Sarah?
I don't know. I've never heard that.
Give it. oh, right. Don't you have salad?
We do.
What condiments do you have? Like,
we have about
12,000
salad dressings.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never heard keen as salad dressing though. No, I've never heard that. I've heard right as rain.
Right as rain. Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's quite a Britishism, I think. Yeah, I think you need to introduce keen as salad dressing into America.
I'm gonna start. Yeah. Okay.
But should we talk about the X-Files? Because I worry that, we're gonna.
I suppose we could. Yeah.
I guess
we could do. The thing is, there's not a lot to talk about, is there, in this minute?
That's the thing, isn't it? It's really interesting watching some of these minutes in isolation, because, like you say, not a great deal happens for the most part here. And that, I have to say, that does jump out at you when you're doing a minute-by-minute podcast and looking for interesting things to say. So, yeah, I'm eager to hear what you guys thought about it.
I mean, we are really interesting people, obviously, as you know, listeners. If you're still with us 5 minutes in.
Both of you.
Yeah, and you're both going to be gone after this minute, probably. But while you're still here, we can try and talk about the X-Files.
Can I tell you what I was thinking about when I was watching this?
Go on then.
Well, I was kind of wondering what it was like for these performers in the, playing the Neanderthals, really, in this whole sequence. I believe they hired athletes, didn't they? And presumably these guys didn't really know the full significance of what was going on. They've got these elaborate things going on in terms of their costume and makeup and whatever. There's no dialogue. They're basically just wandering around a cave. So it just makes me wonder, how much info were they given? What kind of direction were they given? And how would you approach a scene like this as an acting challenge? So I don't know. I mean, Tony, you've got a drama degree. How would you have done it?
Thing is, I've often been accused of being a caveman, but I've never played a caveman. Yeah, I think my whole life is method. Some of my friends genuinely think I've been thawed out from the year 15,000 BC, and I'm having to adjust to human life in the 21st century.
Well,
so
that would
I think
explain your political opinions.
If I was to try and method this, I would say you have to think in a very simplistic way.
Yeah.
You have to think of food, warm, shelter, aliens, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's basically, I think, what would be going through my head as an actor at this point. Not trying to think about any kind of complexity at all, which in itself would be difficult to do, actually. And in fact, they wouldn't know what that was, would they? They wouldn't know what that thing was. They wouldn't have any context for what that thing was, would they? Because they don't really.
They presumably have tracked it into the cave, though, haven't they? So they must have had some, or were they just? I don't know what drew them to the cave.
Yeah. Why are they running to the cave? Are they trying to find their friends that are in the ice?
Were they hunting because they were following the footsteps? Is the impression I.
Maybe they thought they were going to get dinner.
Yeah, we said this before. I think that they were like, it's like they're on a mission, and I get that.
But why after dark? Right? Isn't it like
Well, it's
dark?
dark in the cave because it's a cave.
It's dark.
Well, yeah.
But it was light outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember that far back. It's been ages.
That was
5 whole minutes ago. And 4 months.
And 4 months, yeah. But yeah, it is interesting how, what kind of mindset they would have been in. Apparently it was freezing cold, though, intentionally on set, because they lowered the temperature to like 29 degrees minus, or look really quite cold. I think that's what they said, 29 degrees. They can't be minus 29 degrees, though, surely.
well, no, 29 Fahrenheit. I guess that's quite.
Oh, was it Fahrenheit?
Maybe.
See, this is again the British thing, right? That we don't think like Fahrenheit, do we? When we say degrees. So I was like, minus 29 degrees. That's you'd be dead.
Yeah, it was actually 29 degrees Fahrenheit here the other morning. It was very cold.
So what is that then in our degrees? Minus 29 degrees Fahrenheit.
Minus 29? That would be really, like, just regular
Well, hang
29
on.
is cold enough.
What would plus 29 be in Celsius?
Well, hang on. Yeah, okay? Because it must be plus, mustn't it?
Yeah.
It has to be plus.
So.
Yeah.
It must be.
I
It
can't
must be,
imagine it
'cause
was
otherwise
minus
they'd be
20.
dead.
Yeah. Nobody would have been on set. They would have all been frozen popsicles.
So I don't know what that is.
Here, let's ask Google.
Actually, yeah.
Google,
'Cause it's cold,
what is
anyway.
29 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius?
Are you Googling?
Yeah.
Are you Googling now?
29 degrees Fahrenheit is equal to minus 1.667 degrees Celsius.
So it's minus 1.
What was that? Does that happen every time you Google?
This is my phone.
Really?
Yeah.
Does every time you Google, does that happen?
No, because I asked Google.
Did you?
It's like Siri,
like,
but Google.
Yeah, you know who Siri is, don't you, Tony?
Yeah, I don't use her because I'm scared of the implications.
Why? What are you searching for?
What? Sexy cavemen. That's what I'm after. But no, I'm like, yeah, okay. That freaked me out, Sarah.
Sorry.
I can't do the asking the phone thing.
I have it set to a British man's voice instead of like the creepy woman. She scares me.
Yeah, you need a posh butler voice for it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one of the interesting things I picked up on the commentary that pertains to this minute is...
Oh, you're trying to talk about the X-Files again, Carl. What are you doing?
Well, because if there's one thing I admire, it's a good flame. And at one point, Carter talks about how much time and effort was put into things like the torches, to make it look like a real flame rather than something that was kind of gas-operated, I think was
I do
kind of what he was
appreciate the
saying.
torches.
And it is. It looks... It's a good torch, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Of all the torches I've seen, this is a quality torch.
Yeah.
One thing
This is a
I
9
really
out of 10
was
torch.
that threw me when I came to the UK was that you call flashlights a torch. And they're like, hand me the torch. I was like, where's the torch? I don't see any fire. Like, what is... I don't know what that is.
So you would understand the torch to be like these guys have got in the film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that.
Do you know what, that
it has
makes
fire.
sense, though. That makes sense, Sarah, to be fair, because it is a flashing light.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, and a torch... Yeah, no, I get it. We're the stupid ones there. Like, we should call it a flashlight, but we don't.
Yeah.
There is such a thing as a fleshlight, but that's a very different discussion. We probably shouldn't get into that on this. It's a PG podcast.
Yeah.
I know nothing about what you speak.
Don't ask Google about that.
Yeah, don't ask
Hey,
Google
Siri.
anything.
No.
No, you're right though. They did put a bit of effort into some of the thinking process. They wanted it to be authentic, I think, with the torches, with the makeup, the clothing. I think at first they mentioned how it was originally there were things that were put forward in terms of the makeup and everything. It wasn't very good, and I'd be interested to find out more about that specifically because it makes me wonder if like originally they tried to dress them like Raquel Welch in 10,000 years BC or whatever, a million years BC, where she's in like a loincloth.
Yeah.
Is that what they were originally going for? Like, you wonder. And then, but it went, actually, no, it is freezing. It's like, it's the Ice Age, guys. They need to be in some furs,
That's kind of fascinating, though, isn't it? Because, like, the things we tend to fixate on as fans are not these kind of scenes, are they? So it's always interesting to hear when they have had to put in a lot of effort and they've gone through all these different variations and things. because as fans, I think we just kind of would take a sequence like this basically for granted, don't we? But then when you drill into it and they had all these issues with the alien not being able to see and stuff like that, it makes you appreciate the craft on display a bit more.
Yeah,
to be fair.
definitely.
So yeah, hats off to everybody involved.
Yeah, it does come out well. I think this minute, even though not a lot happens, I think it's good in terms of building tension. You know, it's it does a little bit of like the way that Rob Bowman shoots it is that his camera shots are like he's being stalked by another alien or by the alien, even though the alien then turns out towards the end as being playing dead, essentially. He films it very much like a suspense sequence. This Neanderthal wandering around, moving the torch to try and see what's going on because he can't find this thing. And then obviously he does, and it is playing dead. But there's that, which denotes the intelligence behind this creature. You know, that it is sort of lying in wait for him to strike. That was the impression I got anyway. He's doing it on purpose, you know? Even though it has been stabbed already, so it might be wounded, because I think he stabs it in the back. But at the same time, it's clearly not dead, or because it still can go for him. So
I think you're right, though. I think the scene as a whole, even though, like we say, there's not a great deal that happens necessarily in this minute, but it effectively keeps up the kind of sense of foreboding, I think. What do you think, Sarah?
Yeah, it's still suspenseful. I mean, you're still... It doesn't... Technically, a lot doesn't happen, but it feels like it does because you're so engrossed in what's happening. And, you know, it's... Who isn't afraid of a dark cave and a monster inside? I mean, that's like the most basic, primal human thing, right? Yeah. Which I think is kind of cool, is how they sort of tied that into, you know, like these aliens have been here since the cavemen. It's this primeval creature, and they've been here long before we could ever know or remember, like Deep Throat says, right? Is that Deep Throat quote?
Yeah. Mr. Mulder, they've been here for a long, long time. I can't... Do you know who can do the best Deep Throat impression? Yeah. Zach Moore. I think he's done it on this podcast. His Deep Throat is something else. You know, I can't do that as well. Yeah, you're right. This is it. It is. It's going back this far. I think it's all just a very cool sequence, and like, it's the kind of thing they didn't do a lot of, or really this far back on the show at all. You know, because a lot of stuff doesn't go back this far. So it's, you know, in a lot of fiction. So it's quite cool to see all this unfolding.
In some ways, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it could have been slightly shorter, but, you know, we're nearly there. We're nearly at the end. We've got an interesting minute to come, and you guys are going to be back for that minute with me before we all veer off onto different paths. So, yeah, that'll be good. So until next time, for our next minute, guys, remember, as always, trust no one.